Hello, everyone. Let me adjust this. Okay. So, in this video, in this vlog, I'm going to be talking about an article that was sent to me. It's the Jewish Action, the magazine of the Orthodox Union. Jewish Action article by David Rosmarin, Dr. David Rosmarin. And I believe he's a clinical psychiatrist or psychologist. And I've been doing a little bit of research on his movement because he's doing something similar to me. He's from the Harvard Medical School, actually, come to find out during my research. Hello, viewer. And so in this video, I wanted to, because I had posted on Dated with the Diagnosis, the article itself, and some highlights from the article. But I wanted to talk a little further more about why I enjoyed reading this. And I'm so grateful that it was sent to me because I learned a lot just from skimming and reading through the article for a couple of days. So in the article, you'll find statistics by NIMH. I think this is a national something of mental health. And they have statistics all over their website. I'll post some of the links and stuff at the end of the video, as I do, so that you guys can, have the information as well. So in the article, he has some stories about different people living with mental health diagnoses that are in relationships or thinking about getting into relationships, and also that their family around them, like just that even too as a relationship, like their relationship with their family and how their family tries to support them with their mental health, and that are concerned about, well, can someone with mental health get married? And these are the type of concerns that I've been pondering for a while, and why I started this movement. I actually started this movement for a lot of reasons, and it's going to shift over time. You'll see if you keep following up with Dating with the Diagnosis. And also I'm writing a book about it as well. It's going to be a self-help book, so look out for that. It's going to be a couple of years. I'm still writing it. I want it to be one of my more serious projects as far as writing goes, because I like to write poetry and publish poetry, but this one is more like with intent, purpose, and stuff. So I'm excited about that. I'm also going to be talking about a video, Wellness Wednesdays by Northeast Recovery Learning Community, Ray Shelley Ramos. She did a wonderful Wellness Wednesday short video discussion group conversation live on Facebook Live. I posted that on Dated with a Diagnosis as well. And I attended it, and some of the people from Dating with a Diagnosis group had attended it, and I hope y'all liked it. I really enjoyed her delivery. I really enjoyed, how she did everything, and it was really cool. And I look forward to going to another one like that she may have, or they may have. Okay, so I'm not gonna make this video too long, but I just wanted to read some of the stuff out of the article and kind of like give perspective. So one of the things that I noticed in the article was Dr. David Rosmarin had said, while a supportive family can be one of the most important psychosocial buffers against mental disorders, Orthodox Jewish family life is inherently hectic and often stressful. Orthodox Jews depend on each other, so when an individual suffers, his family and community suffers as well. So I wanted to highlight him saying that. When an individual with a mental health disorder starts to go into psychosis or starts to decline or is having a hard time, what happens, and I don't need to be using clinical language, I usually use human experience language, but I'm just using it for the sake of the content. So when a person goes into, like, for example, with me, when I go into a mental health breakdown and I get confusion and delusional and I have hallucinations and I may wander off or dissociate and things like that, it affects my family. It affects the people around me, the people closest to me. My family has to pick up the slack. Like, 1 minute I'll be great and fine, and 10 minutes later I'm in, not in a good state for months. It happens so quickly. So even my family, sometimes things will happen, small things will happen, and they'll be watching my behavior, or they'll be watching my patterns, and they'll start to say, "Hey, Yanni, how are you feeling?" And what's going on, and do you need to check in, or do you need support with something, or we notice that you've been doing this lately, and whenever you do that, you start to get unwell, or when you say things, like when you say those type of things, you start to become unwell. Like, one of the things that I noticed, well, my family told me, because I don't remember, I remember stuff, because it's a pattern. It's the same stuff over the years. But in the beginning, I didn't remember these things. But the only reason why certain things I remember in the psychosis is because it's the same pattern. So I remember those things, but some things I don't remember. And people have to say, you said this, or you did that, or you did, So it affects my family. My family has to take time out of their self and out of their life to sit down and kind of nurture me back into wellness. And if they can't handle it, unfortunately, I may have to go to psych stabilization, I call it. And and also he was Dr. David Rosmarin was also talking about the religion aspect into it, and I think I've said some videos about dating with a some videos about how Christian, being raised Christian, or having a predominantly Christian family, or some people in my family are Catholic, or other denominations of Christianity. So, and also I was raised by Jews. I don't know if you guys know that. Oh, it's Rosh Hashanah, which is the Jewish New Year. So it's Rosh Hashanah or whatever. So everyone's getting their like New Year's, the Jewish community is getting like their New Year's stuff going on and stuff like that. We talk a little bit about it. And I'm not deep into it. I'm not Orthodox, but I do want to recognize those holidays, because I actually celebrated some of those Jewish holidays growing up. And I think it's very cool. I love culture and religion. I love researching and learning about different cultural religions. It's just, one thing about me is I don't like history, but I do like religion and learning the history of religions and the cultures and stuff like that. And it's never a dull moment for me. So he was talking about in the Orthodox Jewish traditions and lifestyles, when one person in the family suffers, they all suffer, because, they have to pull together. Another thing he said was mental health issues are abundant and they can impact family functioning. As such, people rightfully want to know, can individuals with mental disorders have happy and fulfilling family lives according to conventional Orthodox Jewish standards? Are mental disorders preventable? So that's one of the things I noticed was one of the things. I want to adjust this camera. I don't like all that wall. There we go. That's a little bit better. So one of the things that I also like about this article is that it's really asking the same questions that I've been asking, but he's on a higher level because he's a clinical psychiatrist, and he has more resources than me to pull together like information and statistics. But there's some statistics there. Let's see if we can find them. I think this is the paragraph that talks about the thing. Okay, I'm going to just read it as it is. As a mental health professional who works within the Orthodox community, I receive these and other questions very frequently. This is no surprise, considering the high base rates of mental health concerns, according to the National Institute of Mental Health. That's what NIMH stands for. And I went in to National Institute of Mental Health's website and looked up all these statistics and made sure, I double checked it. So I'll be posting that as well. So, according to the National Institute of Mental Health, nearly 1 in 5 American adults suffer from a full-blown anxiety disorder at some point over their lifespan. This is something we kind of already know. Of these cases, more than 1 in 5 can be classified as severe, meaning that the symptoms lead to substantial impact on functioning or suicidality. Meaning, Some of the symptoms, so 1 in 5 can be classified as severe. Severe would mean like I can't get up and cook, I can't clean, I'm going outside without shoes on, or I'm digging in the trash. Things like that, things I don't normally do. But when I'm sick or when the symptoms get severe, these are type of severe symptoms. Now, other severe symptom is your anxiety or your depression or your mental health diagnosis is causing you to have suicidal thoughts of harming yourself. And that's just anxiety. If we add mood disorders like depression, OCD, which is obsessive compulsive disorder, and related disorders, psychotic disorders, substance use, and other disorders, the yearly base rates climb close to 50%. So I think he's saying like in the year, like 50% of people experience one of these things. Granted, those figures are for the general population and not Orthodox Jews, and some data seems to suggest that our community fares somewhat better in terms of mental health. For example, in a recent study I conducted with my close colleague, Dr. Stephen Perotinsky, with over 400 Jewish adults from the United States and Canada, 20% of them Orthodox Jews, were taking psychiatric medications versus 29% of the individuals outside of the community. Nevertheless, rates of mental disorders are alarmingly high, both in terms of prevalence and severity. So he did a study with just Jewish people. He said, so he looked at the National Institute of Mental Health, and he got the general population statistics, and then he also did his own study within his field with Jewish people. I think he specializes in mental health care for people of the Orthodox or Jewish community. So that's what I'm getting from this. I could be wrong because that's just how I'm interpreting it when I read it. But yeah, I really enjoyed this article. It's very informative. He's asking the same questions I'm asking. And basically, to be a radical, let me add this. Where are these studies? Like, if I knew that they were already doing these studies, but see, these dates like 2019, 2020, 2018, I was thinking about dating with a diagnosis and planning to write my book since before then. So when I was researching these things, there was nothing on the internet. There was nothing I could find about dating with a diagnosis or dating with mental health disorders. I couldn't find anything. Then all of a sudden, all this stuff. But that's how you know you're in line. There's no malice. It's not like somebody's biting your idea or anything like that. It's just, it's just you're aligned. So when you start this intentional process, it starts to manifest. It starts to spit out like all these things that you've been thinking or talking about. You'll start to see them pop up. So I'm very grateful for the sources because I can do less work. Because they're doing the work for me. You feel me? So, so I'm going to move on from that. But that was a little bit about the article that I posted and why I thought it was prevalent today. Because he talks about family, he talks about religion, and he talks about mental health. And those are the things that are attracted to me. Hello, viewer. So, moving on. Also, he answered the question, are relationships possible with people with mental health? And the answer is yes, it is possible. He has some stories in the article, like stories to give examples of people who have mental health disorder and they worked on the issues and they was able to find a partner that helped them and loved them and supported them. And, but it's still difficult for the partner as well. It's a burden sometimes. When you have severe mental health diagnosis, it's a burden to take care of someone, even though you love them. It's just, you may have kids, you may have a job, you may have your own personal hobbies and things that you're into. And so mental health is random. It's spontaneous. Like it can happen at any minute. And that's the moment where it's like, dag, I got to go to work. I got to come back and take care of the kids. I have to do this. And my wife is incapacitated. She's in the hospital, or she's laying in the bed and can't get up, or, she's sleeping all day and stuff like that. And those are things that my partners have to deal with me. They have to deal with, like, one time I was spending some time with one of my partners and I was sleeping a lot. This was actually last year. It was like every time I came to his house, we didn't even really spend too much time talking like we usually, because we stay up all night just talking and laughing. And for a whole week that I was with him, I just kept sleeping and sleeping and sleeping. He's like, wake up! Trying to wake me up and stuff, but I felt like it was hard for him because he was just like, because I knew it was a problem. And I think I made a video about this. And I was sleeping alone, and he was just basically like upset with me because he's like you're sleeping way too much. I'm glad he didn't think I was pregnant or something. I have to make a joke. But this is too hot to drink. It's hot chocolate and coffee mixed with some milk. I can't wait to drink it. But like I said, I'm going to try to keep this video short and informative. So, Wellness Wednesday with Northeast RLC. Y'all know I'm part of the RLC community, which is Recovery Learning Community. And we do a lot of peer support work, and we do a lot of recovery-based stuff. And it's really exciting. We do a lot of fun stuff, and some stuff we do is really kind of on the clinical side. Not professional clinical, but like clinical in the sense where it's like actual work, like homework to do. And some stuff is just creative and fun. Like we go to events. We have newsletters that we circulate. We email each other back and forth and let each other know about jobs and trainings and community events. And it's really cool and it's really fun. So I'm glad to be a part of the RLC. So this one's from Northeast RLC. It was Wellness Wednesday. It was yesterday. I posted it on the Dating with the Diagnosis group. So if you scroll down from this video, you can find it and watch it. It's very short. I think it's less than 20 minutes long. The video was done by Rachel Ramos. She's a peer in the community and of the Northeast RLC. And in case you missed it, some of the things that she said in the video were pretty cool because the topic was relationships, and that's why I went, because I wanted to see get more content, like get more information about relationships, just for the sake of Dating with a Diagnosis, and to share it with you all that you might find it useful. So I'm gonna just read some of the points she made. Hi, Skylar. I'm gonna read some of the points that she made in the video. So she talked about relationships on the aspect of listening, the component of relationships that come with listening, listening to understand, and listening with your heart. Thinking before you speak. When you're communicating with your partner or your family members or whatever, listen to them with your heart and listen intently. Think before you speak. Be mindful of how you say things. Be present. Listen with your entire body. Sometimes a compliment will be received as an insult, so be careful with compliments. Sometimes it's not what you're saying, it's how you say it, and it's also about who you say it to. Some of us know that if we make I have people in my family that I'll make compliments to, and I'm like, oh, you look so good, you lost a little weight, because I know she likes to, keep her weight down. So sometimes when I see it, she's lost a few pounds, or she looks slimmer, or at least her clothes, and I'm like, oh, that's a nice outfit, or I'm like, oh, look, you're losing a couple of pounds, how you feel about that? And she don't know how to take a compliment. She'll be like, oh no, this is awful, I feel like this, and this is awful, and she don't know how to take a compliment. But it's not an insult to her. It is a compliment. She just don't know how to receive it. But some people, you tell them that they lost weight and they be like, why was I fat? So you have to be careful about complimenting. And I'm learning that. And that video taught me that, because I am a complimenter. I like to be like, oh, your hair looks so nice. Oh, I love your nails. Oh, I love that color on you. And I don't need to do all that, because flattery gets you nowhere. Okay. Be one with the moment. Some people like me, when I have communication with people, I have to read people's lips, because I'm hard of hearing. So I have to read people's lips when they talk to me. And it's so hard to do that with the mask on. So lately I've been noticing, ever since COVID and wearing the mask, I've been noticing that I have to tell people, like, can you talk, I can't hear you. So I actually would turn my ear to them and be like this when they're talking, standing there, because I can't hear them. And I can't read their lips to understand. Their eyes are not going to say what they're saying. So that's one thing. She said some people listen by reading lips, and, listen with your whole body. Be one with the moment. Always support others through listening when possible. If you don't have time to listen, save the convo for later. It's important to say to people, oh, I don't have time right now because I'm working, or I'm on my way to run an errand and I cannot give you my undivided attention. Can we have this conversation again later? Can we continue this conversation later? Because I want to give you my full attention. I don't want to be twiddling with my phone. I don't want to be driving and trying to listen to you speak to me or share some important stuff with me, and I'm not all the way tuned in. So it's okay to save the conversation for later. Also, relationships are a two-way street. This is very important. So I think the point that she was making when she said relationships are a two-way street is that just like you want to be listened to, somebody else may need you to listen. Or just like you want to be talked to, some people want you to talk to them. Because some people, they are very good listeners, but they're not good at talking. Have you noticed that? Like some people, they listen very well, but when you ask them to give their opinion, hey Prima, my cousin's here. So when you ask them to give you feedback on what you just said, they're not really good at speaking. They don't know how to have a conversation, but it's a two-way street. If you want somebody to open up and share with you their personal dilemmas or their personal views on life or in the world, you have to be able to share something too. It doesn't have to be a 5-minute, moment where you're just talking, but you do have to know, okay, try to have something nice to say back or give feedback or whatever, just to show that you're listening. It's a two-way street, relationships. Oh, another thing that Ray Shelley said that was very cool, and I think it was a very nice quote. She said, "When I feel listened to, I feel respected." So I think that was really nice, and I agree. Like when I feel listened to, I feel like I'm getting the respect that I need. Not everybody's a talkative person. Not everybody's a good listener. I'm not a good listener, but I listen. It's not that it has anything to do with the person, but it does have a lot to do with the diagnosis I have. I dissociate a lot in conversations. I kind of like forget where I'm at or what I'm doing, and I start thinking about something else. And it's like there's certain trigger words or certain, well, that's how they call it. I don't know how else to call it, but there's certain trigger words like a person will use in a conversation that would allow me to dissociate and go somewhere else and like drag on in my brain. And then a minute later, they're still talking. And I don't know what they said. Another reason why I'm not a good listener, but I'm a listener, is because of my hearing impairment. So if I can't read your lips, it's hard. Like I use speakerphone a lot, and I use Bluetooth and stuff like that. So yeah, you don't have to be a perfect listener and stuff, but there's ways that you can try. You don't have to be the best communicator, but there's ways you can try and exercise that. So I just wanted to share that with you all, and thanks for tuning in. And I hope this was informative to you, and I hope this is explaining a little bit more about dating with a diagnosis. So maybe you got some jewels, and definitely go check out that article by in Jewish Action by David Rosmarin. I'll be posting some more stuff. I'm actually gonna do some more research on Dr. David Rosmarin, and I'm going to look at, he has a lot of stuff, and I didn't know he was from the Harvard Medical School. And I think that's really cool that he's in our area and stuff like that. But he has a video talking about this stuff, and I definitely want to share the content, because this is not about me just making videos about dating with a diagnosis on my own women, coming up with my own content. This is also about me sharing what resources are already out there and what information is already out there, because it's an interesting topic, because we all can relate about relationships. We have even past relationships. We may not have nobody significant in our life right now. Maybe it's just us, but there's a form of you can have a relationship with yourself. Dating with a diagnosis is also about building a relationship with yourself. Okay? So I hope this was informative, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good weekend. Ciao.